I have been impressed, and still am, that the church is not thought of as highly as it ought to be. I don't believe that in the market of the world, the church is selling above par, but many times below. And I'm not blaming the world to stress us out and criticize and find fault. There's ground for it. Now, the only way to overcome that is to set a high standard and live up to it, so that the world will have nothing to say, and the gainsayer cannot accomplish anything to the detriment of the cause of Christ. Let your conversation be as becometh the gospel. Now, if my slang and sluice of swine and filthy talk, if that goes and is all right with the church, what does the world think about it? I don't think much of the church, if that's the sample of it. Or if that fellow's speech, as well as his act, are in accordance and harmony, then I think more of the Masonic Lodge, or possibly the Ku Klux Klan, than I do of a pretended religious outfit like that. And we are to blame when the world criticizes. And if you just stop and think about it, they have right to. And I join them along that line. Now let's overcome that by living our manner of life be commensurate, harmonious with the gospel of Christ. That whether I come to you again or not, I want to hear from you. Well, what is it, Paul? I want to hear that you stand fast. If I'd written that, I guess I would have said that you stand fast. I know what that means. Stay put. That you be not carried about by every wave of doctrine, but that you get your feet well rooted in the soil of God's eternal truth, and molded in that which has come down through inspiration. And stand fast with one mind and one heart, one spirit, striving together for the faith of the gospel. Why is it first of all worth to strive, but not have strife among us? Too much of that by far, and we're divided to the detriment of the cause and to our shame over so many things that to me are not worthy of that which they believe. And but stand fast with one mind and one spirit, striving together. Why, you know what that means. If Brother Rex Turner there pulls from this desk 40 pounds in that direction, and I pull 40 pounds in this direction, why, you know the thing just stays right there. We haven't moved it a particle. But if we get on the same side of it and double our strength of 80, then there's something going to turn loose. We can accomplish things. What does it all spell to get striving together? I used to drive oxen, and of course had the vocabulary that necessarily goes with them. And I rejoiced when I had a fine yoke of oxen that would sit together. And we both stood back there with pulling the thing loose at both ends. But I've had them that they strove just as hard as possible, but they were pulling against one another until there was a knot on the outside of the neck, just in front of the boat. And on a slippery bridge, when it rained just a little bit, drive up, and there they lean and pull. And I recall I had one once to drop off, and there suspended by the yoke and the bow, and had to cut the key. Now, you see, the folks may not know a thing on earth of what I'm talking about, but I just can't help it. I'm sorry that you miss some of the best things of life. You know what to do with a team of that kind when they strive one against the other? Let the other fellow have it. Swap them off. Or sell them, or do something, get rid of them. After that, my father had horse teams, and I drove them for a spell. And I are delighted because of the splendor that characterized them, and I know something about things of that kind. I've seen great big jackal gray, Persian horses, broad back, weighing 1,500 pounds, stepping along down the road, looks like it's impossible for anything to hinder them. There they are, perfect show. Why, they had the finest harness in the country, brass top hangings, leather belts, leather backbands, belly band, choke strap, plank strap, and all that, together with tassels flying from the breezes, and there they stepped along, perfect accord. But when the wheels got down the mud hole after the axle, they stopped. And some of you may know what stopped to get ready to happen. Well, the fellow that's driving understands the trouble, and he talks to them nicely for a little spell and gives the word go, and they're all forward. Now, that's the one on the right-hand side from behind. The all forward lunges forward. The other just stands. Well, they got nowhere that time. And then he texts them and talks nicely to them when he could beat the life out of them. And finally gives the word, and the lead horse lunges forward, and the other one stands. And that got nowhere. And then by and by, he begins to fool with them and works up, and they run forward and back, and thus they seesaw back and forth and work up a perfect lollolly, and foam all over them. And finally, do you folks know what happened? One of them will lay his chin over on the other's neck just in front of her hand. That means I'm bought. I'm right here. And you can't move them to save your soul. Bless them out, beat them, do anything. They're right there. Now, I've seen the fella have picked them out with all their fine equipment. And then some fellow come along with a little pad, he weighs about 800 pounds. They have on rope bladder, shirt collars, cotton backband, no belly band at all, and iron curves, and traces, and no breeching or flank straps or any of that outfit, and no pretense whatsoever. But he just puts one off them over the tongue or pole, and pulls them up, and gets back, very calm and quiet, and gives the word, and they place their 8 feet right along together, and move right on out. And the big fine feet standing over there, looking like scared to think with 2 holes in it, by the way. Now, what's the philosophy of it? Those of the mules were striving together. Now, you may have a congregation of 500 people. If they're all in the sea with half of them up to do this, the other does. Then when we want to do something over here, well, we're getting it on that side. Why, you can't get nowhere with that. Better have a lot of subtractions when that's the case, by the way, and have just a few and get them to pull together, and things will move on out as they ought to move. Well, that's what Paul has in mind. Brethren, strive together. Well, someone said, we just can't all see alike. Oh, I guess we can. Paul thought so. 1 Corinthians 1:10. I beseech you, brethren, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, that there be no divisions among you, but that you all be joined together in one mind and one spirit. Now, if that's impossible, Paul was just talking contrary to what might take place. Well, how can we be together? Well, there's just one way. If I'm heady and arrogant and bull-headed and determined that my way and my opinion shall prevail, it's hopeless and helpless and hapless. Just can't do that. And if somebody else is strong in that nature and is determined to have his way about it on some kind of a pet theory, why, of course, that gets nowhere. Well, how can we do it? If all of us were just just speak as the Bible directs, and march on with those things that are plainly put, and sacrifice our opinion and preferences, and walk by faith, you couldn't get a professor to save your life in matters of that kind. In essential affairs, oneness. Why, the slogan of the pioneer preachers was this: in matters of faith, unity. In matters of opinion, liberty. In all things, charity. And it ought to be adopted now. I am embarrassed numbers of times when I go places and find the Church of the Lord divided into faded factions and different ones. While over here, for instance, this kind of a crowd, they object to something. Over here's another one, they oppose this. And over there's a third one, they have a hobby on which they are feasting evermore. And what's the result? The church is ridiculed correctly and looked down upon by decent people. Those things ought not to be, and they're not necessary. That's good for me. Now, Paul said, brethren, I want to see that you strive together. I want to hear from you with one faith, one spirit, one mind, striving for the furtherance of the gospel of Christ. While the church of God is not striving for popularity, it's not striving to make money and to hold it up. I've gone to places and the president said, brother, out of this congregation has $5,000 in the bank. Oh, bless your soul, the church is not a banking institution. Spend it. Next Sunday have some more, and the next first day some more. And this side of the church holding up is wholly out of order when there are so many calls perfectly worthy. Spend what you have in the right direction and keep the thing going. Strive together for the faith of the gospel. There are those round about who have never heard it as yet. Why, I dare say, within the top of Montgomery, Alabama, there are more than 5,000 who've never heard a gospel sermon. And yet we're largely at ease in Zion. There are those who need teaching day by day in such schools as you have out here where the Bible is taught. And I trust free from all things except the Bible, and thus become an influence for wonderful good in the accomplishment of the purpose of government. Strive together for the faith of the gospel, and in nothing be terrified. The devil and his agents are trying to embarrass and humiliate the church of the Lord. They make fun of so many things taught in the Bible. Well, let me tell you a thing or two along that line. When I first commenced to preach, and for a number of years after, I could not preach a single distinctive thing characteristic of the Church of Christ, but when I got through, some fellow would say, were you a friend I did today? And when you 2 times it? Well, I never did run away from them. Yes. Well, what's the result? Why, we had debates all over the country, in every schoolhouse, in every town, in every village, under the tents, in the brush arbors, all over the land. And finally, they decided that we're not getting anywhere in opposing that which is proclaimed by gospel preachers. And now what? Oh, it's not very refined. It's not personal to have a debate. And we haven't got time to spend it down and wrangling over affairs. God knows I'd feel the same way if I had the skinning that a whole lot of denominations have had by gospel preachers. Well, I want you to discuss matters. Now, men mean to tell me, well, I'm just a brother. No, you're not. Get off by yourself, you can do it. But why not meet some man in discussion of affairs? I just have a lingering suspicion that one of the finest things that could contribute to the cause of Christ in this city would be a first-class, high-tone religious discussion of just such differences as prevail among us. I would want to wrangle, not to go in for a dog fall and a fight and a low-down scrap and get down into affairs of many conceptions, but upon the merit of things, strive for it, contend for it, and be not terrified nor humiliated nor embarrassed in any sense whatsoever. Why, I believe the Church of Christ has the truth, of course, or I wouldn't be connected with it. There's not one single principle in the foundation, but I would stand for it and affirm it against the characters of this earth. But when they want me to affirm now the practice of the membership, I have to beg to excuse. I'll contend for the doctrine all right enough, and for what we teach, and I'll strive for its success, and that's as far as can be said about it. What have it otherwise? Let's strive together for the faith of the gospel of God's Son, and in nothing else be embarrassed or terrified by our adversaries. They may talk about it and think that faith is a token of perdition. But for you it's a token of salvation and that of God Almighty. Friends, I wish that I could live long enough to see the gospel triumph in so many places of earth, and to see the church of the Lord established all over this land of ours. I wish that I could see young men and young women thoroughly converted to God's truth and would assume their obligation standing upon them. I'd love to have all men who love the truth buckle on the armor of the Lord, raise aloft the banner, march under the leadership of him who has never yet lost a single conflict, until by and by silver hairs bedeck our brow, and our cheeks are furrowed with the finger of time, and forms bended back toward Mother Earth, until we come to shuffle off all that's mortal, when the great captain of our salvation will bid us to stretch our arms on the glad plains of a never-ending eternity, and there to lay aside our old armor scarred by many a conflict, and at last to hang our sword upon the jasper walls of that eternal city, while with palms of victory and crowns of glory we sweep through morning's gate of eternity into the blissful paradise that lies beyond, the eternal home of the soul, across which the shadows have never been cast, but where rays of light, punctuated by the stars of eternal glory, forevermore risen across the arctic sky. I talk about being faithful unto death. It just seems to me that the nearer we come to the grave, the more loyal and the more zeal should be characteristic of our efforts on every hand. And yet I've seen young people, and you have too, enthusiastic about the church, wonderful workers, and then as they grow older become loose, lax, and indifferent, and take out, and die and go to hell at last. Why, that ought not to be, of course, but to continue until life's race is run, if battle's fought, its victory is won, until we come to lay aside all that's mortal, and prune our opinion for eternal habitation in that blissful home of the soul across which no shadows are ever cast. But to enjoy all of that and to be assured of the result, I must, while here, in simple childlike humility, put my by faith and trust and confidence in Jesus Christ, God's Son, and my Savior. I must resolve by God's grace to turn from every sin away, renounce those things contrary to heaven's will, then to sanctify my lips in confession. The brightest and fairest name known to mortal man. And as the Bible teaches, be buried into the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, from which I rise to walk in newness of life, and then determine to walk in it until the grave comes to claim our bodies, and God then will gladly claim our spirits and bid us come home. Won't you tonight, if you haven't already, accept the gospel call as this last opportunity of the present meeting is extended just now while together we stand.